6 weeks ago, we sorted by lowest price to end up with a 2015 M4.
And over those last couple of weeks, we put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of quality parts.
All to give it away to you. Just by shopping at FCPeuro.com and maintaining your European car, you'll be entered to win our beautiful 2015 M4. So let's show everyone what we did to make it what it is today. First things first, let's talk engine performance. We threw FCP Euro's entire F8X performance catalog at this car, including every single CSF upgraded cooler. We have an upgraded charge cooler for the intake. We have an upgraded DCT cooler from CSF as well, along with the aux radiators in the front bumper. This should keep things cool. After all, a big part of the S55's advantages over the N55 is cooling alone with that mechanical water pump and the charge cooler up top. As far as airflow goes, we have an even cherry intake system, which with all this tight packaging looks absolutely amazing and it sounds incredible. We also have their charge pipes, which look absolutely fantastic, along with their engine cover. We also have done an NRW one-piece crank hub, which along with our performance upgrades should keep this thing in one piece, should we choose to bring it to a place like here, Lime Rock Park. We also installed a Miltech equal-length mid-pipe and Miltech exhaust, which sounds absolutely insane. But before we could have that music for our ears and eye candy under the hood, Gareth and Mike had a lot of work to do.
And a lot of that engine work, which you can see we are still quite literally in the middle of, started with Gareth giving us an S55 engine diag, which is available on the YouTube channel as well. And to back up all that info, we followed it up with some basic DIYs like spark plugs and ignition coils, fuel injectors, valve cover and valve cover gaskets, and moved it up a little bit over to the removal of the intake manifold to service the high pressure fuel pumps. Yes, there's two of them, as well as the oil filter housing gasket. And I know what you're thinking, but my good people, the intake manifold must come out in order to do that DIY. Over on the front end of things, we did things like the Vano solenoids, the water pump, the thermostat, and even some heavy hitters like the DIY on the crank hub, which is going to be a good video. And to help support all of this, and I mean quite literally, and keep this car on the ground, we also did a ton of suspension work, which Alex is now going to demonstrate how that performs.
The F82 M4 and F80 M3 came with hard-mounted rear subframes, which is a technology used on the CRT and E92 M3 GTS. What that means is while you have a compliant ride from the F82's unibody, you have so much suspension control. You can place the wheel exactly where you want it. And the KW DDCs, the coilovers which integrate with the factory chassis control, only increase that versatility. And you can do this with it. Whether you want daily driver comfort or this, the KWs pretty much have it all. Coupling your suspension with our SPL spherical lower bearings and roll center correction kit means that even though this thing is dumped and it could look awesome at a car show, it doesn't just wash out when I turn in. Look at that. The thing is on its toes. Oh my God, it's electric, and not in that way. Man, if you have an old car and you think that things aren't the way they need to be these days, you gotta drive one of these. Well, that said, this thing is 10 years old. It doesn't feel it. When the M4 debuted in 2015, it came with Formula One brake technology, meaning carbon ceramic brakes, which we took off using the 400mm M Sport brakes from the M2 using our carbon ceramic steel conversion kit. So unless you want to pay the down payment on a house each time you service your brakes, you're going to want to swap over to these steels. And if you'll notice, I'm doing things that should be requiring a clutch kick, but with this dual clutch transmission. And I don't have to worry about it because we upgraded with the Fall Line Motorsports Transpan, so we have a little bit more capacity, and those CSF coolers mean that our temperature hasn't moved a bit. It's actually kind of an amazing package. For like 30 grand is what we bought this thing for. I mean, obviously it's got parts in it, but the value. Now, we've been drifting this thing and having fun all day, but we want to talk about the elephant in the room, the way this thing looks. When the F80 and F82 M4 came out in 2014, they looked great, but over the years, BMW refined and tweaked little things, and we've brought some of those things to our 2015 M4 to make it look the part. On the front end, we have a set of LCI 2 Icon headlights from the facelift. A little bit of coating, but they bolted right in. We also have painted front grills from the competition M4, an I&D painted front roundel, and of course, a giant GTS front lip. It is adjustable, so if the bottom isn't your flavor, you can always dial it back to a CS front lip. We have custom wheels, which might not be available at FCPeuro.com, but I think the world's better with them in it. The wrap was inspired by the 1980s 635 CSi race car, and to complement it, we also threw the black competition or shadow line trim items in the car. Coming along to the back, we obviously have a giant Adro wing. We actually carry everything they offer for BMW at FCPeuro.com, and this is actually developed with one of their employees who is a former Williams Formula One aerodynamicist. So it's real stuff. Of course, we have the Blackline European taillights, which we're stocking at FCPeuro. Usually it takes 4 to 6 weeks to get them. And to finish it off, we obviously have the thing lowered on KWs. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. It's certainly a poster car, if you will. And I think with a few choice updates, it doesn't look 10 years old anymore. Honestly, I think everyone around the office was shocked that this was 10 years old who wasn't familiar with the cars. So, have you been back there the whole time?
Yeah, and I just want to remind you, I know how much you love how this car looks and how much time we've both invested, but the reality is this is going to go home with one of you good people. So don't forget to shop on FCPeuro.com to know a little bit more about how to win this car. And check out the DIY channel as well if you want to learn how to live with it moving forward. As always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. That was good. Well, he just